Hey everybody, this is the Talking Energy Show. I'm Matt Hill with Night Energy Services.
Ken Lavin with Winter Mud.
And we have a very distinguished friend of mine and guest here in our studio today. Tell everybody who you are.
George Edwards, Edwards Environmental Corporation.
George Edwards, Edwards Environmental Corporation. Before we even get started, I just want to say thank you to Trace Management for giving us the space and the studio to do this. So they're our sponsor for the Talking Energy Show. Trace Management does oil and gas engineering, project management, so drilling, completion, production, facilities, regulatory, just on and on and on. So if you're a operator or a private equity, company, and you want to talk about our industry and how to do it, come in here, meet everybody.
Great group to work with.
Great group to work with. We have several here in Oklahoma, and man, they're all just amazing people.
And they're everywhere. They do these services everywhere.
Yeah. So anyway, there's my plug, and thank you, George, for being here today. We've tried this once before, and it didn't work out quite as well. So now, hey, technical difficulties, everybody. That's usually my fault.
Try or run.
So, George, you and I met up. You were, found me on what, LinkedIn? Is that right? I think so. LinkedIn, Facebook, but
maybe.
Yeah, so George, wanted to connect with more people and start networking, and found a way for himself to start being included in the events and meetings. And tell everybody what. So for the people in oil and gas and outside of it, what does George Edwards Environmental do? You guys do remediation and on and on. Tell us about that.
All right, I primarily in the oil and gas industry do saltwater remediation, some hydrocarbon remediation. Hydrocarbon remediation is a lot easier to do because it's an organic product, and so it will digest and turn into CO2, water, and ash.
When you say digest, you're talking about microorganisms?
Yes.
That eat hydrocarbons.
90% of the work in the soil, be it growing crops, is due to the activity of microorganisms. Without them, it's dirt.
Right.
But with the microorganisms, the fungi, etc., and they're all working symbiotically to produce food for the plants. So a hydrocarbon spill is just basically food for them.
So it's going to get broken down.
It's going to get broken down.
Not that we've talked about this at length. Our industry is we are constantly looking for ways to contribute to what we know is our own deficits, which would be spills. But we have a handle on ourselves. We want to do this before regulatory ever approaches us with we don't need more laws. We don't need the state or local, officials and governments come in and telling us how we do it. We do it better ourselves. We create, fields like your own that say, hey, can you find a way for us to possibly remediate, these spills? And you found it.
Yes, and typically can do it a lot cheaper versus the traditional dig and haul.
Right.
Because you still, with the dig and haul, it's got to go someplace.
Well, you ought to mention a little deeper on that dig and haul.
He's the environmental friendly version.
Yeah, that dig and haul is horrible. Is it 6 feet that they have to go down?
No, they got to go 3 feet minimum.
Minimum.
Assuming that we're over 2,640 parts per million of soluble salts, 1,000 on chlorides, and 4,000 on conductivity.
And how far from the epicenter, so to speak, of say a spill is that 3 feet? Is that typically been? I'm just trying to make our viewers realize that I've been there with those hauls, and we're talking truckloads of dirt just to get back to where things need to be. So what you're doing is huge. So go ahead.
Well, one project I had was 4 acres.
Oh my God!
And it was at least 3 feet deep. That's as deep as we had to go, even though it was still hot.
Because you're going out there and testing it. You're doing that.
I do the soil sampling, do it, and the analytical work. I send to a certified lab here in Oklahoma City to know exactly what I'm dealing with. Now, to answer your question, how far is it outside of the spill area? Does it really go? You've got dispersion. So The best example to explain dispersion, let's say we take a box of Kleenex and we pour some water in the center of the box of Kleenex. Does that water go straight down? No, it disperses and goes out sideways. So if somebody tells me we've got a 10 by 10 spill, I will add at least 15% to
On
that
top of
calculation to determine my cubic yards. Now, when you do a dig and haul, you're looking at $100 to $200 a cubic yard, 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot.
Oh, I know.
All right.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and depending on the age of it, depends on the soil structure. If you've got clay, well, that salt binds, it's an ionic bond to the clay. And people think, and I've seen it in the agricultural industry, well, if you have a spill, just water it real good and it'll disperse. No, it's a bond. You have to break that bond. So,
Great example.
What I like about this, though, is, inevitably, I see our own industry, the oil and gas, being very responsible for our own environmental ESG, if you will. We're like, hey, look, we are looking out. We get a bad rap, but it's
But we own it.
we own it. Like, hey, look,
Yeah.
we're out there as an industry constantly looking for ways to improve our own environment. We live here, we breathe here, we school here. I don't. You and I talk about it all the time. We love hunting and fishing. A lot of our conversations end up, there. This guy knows about deer, a lot about deer.
I've been managing them since 1987.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All this environmental talk aside, where did you come from, George? I want to know a little bit more about you. You're always so interesting to me, and I think that's worth visiting. How long have you been in oil and gas? How did you even get started in environmental sciences?
Well, it goes back. My dad graduated from Princeton University in 1932 as a geologist, came back. Our family's been here since 1889.
Wow.
My grandfather actually was the judge that was appointed to record the real estate documents for the run of 89. He was there.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. And so the family's been here since 89, started a business in 1892. And that's how we got started here.
Right.
My father was a geologist, and he came back. My grandfather, being an early person here, had advantages that other people had as well, and took advantage of that.
Sure.
We bought land for 10 cents an acre, full minerals and surface.
I'm jealous.
In the 30s, and still own the minerals.
Good.
Anyway, so I've always had an interest in biology from in high school. And growing up, Dad had a field, a small oil field, down by Lawton, east side of Lawton. And so he would manage it himself. And so growing up, I was about 10 years old and said, Dad, can I help? So I went down and I'm on a stepladder and I'm painting the tank batteries with the silver paint.
Yeah, yeah, you were the Tin Man.
I was the Tin Man. And then later on, I'd say, Dad, can I help do something else? Well, one of the bedrooms in our home was his office, one of his offices. And so I would sit there, and he would show me, he'd give me the colored pencils, and I would color the oil logs, the well logs, for him. And I had a list of, from 253 to 260 feet, and I would color that according color to him. So he would use those well logs.
Oh, wow.
So then in high school, I got a little more interested, and people were playing football, soccer, and whatnot. I'm out at farm ponds netting aquatic insect life, of all
Right.
things, and putting them in aquariums and watching them.
Right.
Yeah, I was a geek. And,
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
No, and so then I went to college at OSU, go Pokes, and got a business degree there in '73. And then I went into different sales fields and commercial real estate, life insurance, etc. And then in 1990, I was told, you ought to look at this product. It would be a heaven sent to the wastewater treatment industry. So I worked in that for 2 years, learning it self-taught about sewer plants. And I've been doing that for over 30 years. And I'm a consultant to towns in a couple of states. I'm licensed by the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality and Nebraska DEQ. So we're dealing with biology. We're still dealing with microorganisms. So because of my experience,
Everybody that comes on Talking Energy Show at least gets several phone calls during it, because we are luckily not live, and I can maybe edit that out.
Okay.
I'm going to put it right here.
Okay, go on.
So, George, you were in the wastewater treatment, and then how do you go from wastewater to, hey, I know all these people in oil and gas?
That's a good question.
Yeah, how do you transition into? I really like the whole idea of helping this industry out with remediation.
All right. From my upbringing going to school, a lot of my classmates went into the oil and gas business because of their family.
Our state is kind of relying on our energy needs.
Right, and then just my association with them, and they help me even today. So
you know a lot of people in oil and gas in Oklahoma, and just everybody from our elected officials and
Yes.
city and state reps. Yeah, and luckily when I get to hang out with you, there's nobody that doesn't walk by and probably doesn't know George. It's good. It's good. It's nice to be around that.
If something needs to be done,
You're a good person for Oklahoma, and I'm honored to know you, buddy.
Well, I'm just doing a do best. I've been brought up in the old school. Your word is your bond.
Amen to that.
And without integrity, you have nothing.
We when we first got to know each other, he made a trade with me. The AADE has a great event called the Fin Feather Fur Food Festival.
Oh yeah, that's
and I had my own. I had my own venison in the fridge, but we wanted to make pierogies, with some friends, So our pierogies were going to be a wild mushroom venison pierogi.
Okay.
That
sounds good.
With like a garlic aioli sauce, maybe spice it up, whatever.
Why do y'all always make me hungry? This is killing me.
Yeah, well, we have many restaurants in common we love, but so I was quickly running out of venison because we were going to feed, we were going to make 1,000 pierogies.
Yeah, it was going to be huge.
I was going to use up all my venison, which is fine. That's why I go hunt. I want to share it with others anyway. My passion, probably ends up more in the food than actually the hunt, but I was quickly running out, and George's like, I have a lot of venison in the freezer. Why don't you come and I'll share with you in exchange for a little bit of LinkedIn help on my side, because
I'd forgotten that.
Yeah, it saved my butt, and hopefully I helped him or made him a victim of LinkedIn. Either way.
And you forgot about the elk.
Oh, the elk. That's true.
Yeah.
Delicious.
The annual elk hunt to New Mexico.
Yeah. He gets up there and does a lot of outdoors. Man, this guy, he's always outdoors. He gets
Do I
outdoors
need to go with him?
No, you're not allowed.
Okay. No. Not putting. Okay.
So the jump from the transition, if you will, from just wastewater to oil and gas was easy for you because you knew everybody.
I knew a lot of people. Yes.
Not easy, but
yeah. I did. Family. Some of these oil producers, they've known since. Yeah, but they've been known since probably 1940.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the most prominent oil people in Oklahoma City that have buildings named after them.
And they saw after you to say, hey, we see a need for you. We're out there on our locations, and we want to make sure that we keep the environment healthy, and you have a way to do it, George.
And with what I do, it's all linked.
Yeah.
Why? Because wastewater treatment, agricultural interests with my deer food plots, the oil and gas, it all requires one common denominator, bacteria.
Bacteria.
And if you can manipulate that bacteria, then you can do a lot of things. Now, in the case of the saltwater remediation, that does not get remediated with bacteria.
Right.
We can't do that. Now, the hydrocarbon, yes, we can, but not the salt. So the salt was the real challenge.
How do you fix, when he says salts, so for those that are, produced water. So whenever the oil and gas industry, when we go and collect our natural resources, we use a lot of chemicals to do so. And sometimes, those are coming back up, and we call it, wastewater, salt water, but it's a chemical solution, produced water, right?
Yeah.
And so for those in not in our industry, this is an opportunity for us to say, hey, we care about the environment, but we are open and honest with everybody outside of our industry. We care about the environment too. So produced water is chemicals,
right? And so now. And I was asked, I guess it was yesterday, what about if we have a produced water, can we go in and reduce or break that bond of the salt, the sodium chloride, in the water?
Great question.
Right, it was. And I have had a trial like that before. And it did some good, but it was missing a vital part. It's like a big puzzle.
Okay.
What was the missing part?
I'm all ears.
The missing part is the soil and the heavy metals in that soil is what will start to help break that bond, and we just help that along a little bit more.
Like iron down hole breaks, creates those boogers sometimes for the oil and gas industry in the frack part.
Gummy Bear.
Yeah, the Gummy Bear. Those metals are bonding with chemicals and producing results,
right.
Or breaking them apart.
Right. And so what I have done, I've worked in it for 6-7 years, learned the field, and recently I started to have some concerns, and being as anal as I am, I've got to find and see if there isn't something better that can do it faster, quicker, and maybe cheaper. Because you're looking at $100 to $200, maybe more, depending on location, on a dig and haul. I've done projects for as little as $35 a cubic yard.
A little bit cheaper than the hauling away.
Yeah. $75 a cubic yard.
Yeah.
So there's a good bit of savings.
Yeah, because we're not. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not talking about just the pad where the activity's on, the facilities after the well's been drilled and produced and it's flowing and trucks are coming in and out or pipelines. We're talking about making sure that not only is the pad environmentally okay, but everything around there, the farmer's land, all of our food crops and our
creeks,
produce,
streams,
we love fishing.
Right.
And we don't want anything going off downstream. So those plumes are remediated.
I think you made a good point, too, on the pipeline, too. Even when it's leaving location, it'd be a pipeline. You can help out with that, too.
Man, yeah. We talked about that the other day. This pipeline business, man, all these people wanting to shut down. We need more pipelines. We need a lot more infrastructure all the time. We need people to know that the safest, cleanest possible way for our energy future is building pipelines and maintaining them properly, not putting on rail cars, not putting it in trucks. More trucks on the road. I'm good without that. We need pipelines, everybody.
Pipelines are safe. You don't hear much about a problem with that, but you have
not until money and politics get into it.
Right.
Politicians want to change the game, not because they care about the environment. Everybody, they're changing the game because they have other pockets to line. They want to take from the citizens and put that power into their pockets, or overseas, even worse.
Right.
So there's a great need for more pipelines. Man, I'll get off on that tangent in a heartbeat, but they
pro bringing the pipeline back that got shut down earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's bring him back.
So you have case study. And by all means, man, George has a lot of data on. Hey, I'm going to bring him on for just a second, and then Mama's going to take him away. But hey, guys, here's my inspiration for doing everything right here. This little guy.
Come on, Pop.
And all the family. Everybody, Talking Energy Show is all about the next generation and their energy needs. Are you wanting to talk?
The familia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's talking. Come here. Come
Can
and
you
say
sing?
hi. Come here. Come say hi to Dada.
Say hi.
I like your boots, buddy. This is it. This is Cannon Hill. He is the next generation of oil and gas. Come here. Come say hi. You gonna come sing?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Jesus, love me.
Yeah. There we go. He's good at it.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
What song does he sing? What's his song? What's he like?
A, B, C, D, E, F,
G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O,
I
P.
love all songs.
Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna get a lunch after this and probably go. So George was telling me about the Earl's.
Earl's
Yeah.
Barbecue
Earl's
on
has the best
Northwestern.
burger for you right now.
That's just down the street. Didn't the one just right down the road?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah, it's outstanding.
so
Well, since you're the guest, we'll split and we'll buy lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
that's so funny. So whenever you talk about the water, we have a friend and we've done a show with him. Goodness,
Goodness.
we got the
Ooh,
allergies in Oklahoma. Hey, grab him, baby.
it's spring.
Right. Come on.
Grab him. Take him downstairs and we'll be done in just a second.
No. Bye, buddy.
Say bye.
Bye.
That's funny.
Bye.
Bye.
So we have a good friend, Gianni Giandrea, who does this company called Committed Water, and they are able to take produced water, and I'm talking like black
Yeah,
produced
Worse than my
water.
coffee.
Yeah, it's rough, right?
Yeah.
They're able to take this produced water, and they have the only permit when they're done with their process. They are spraying it out on anywhere now, and you'll have to go to their website. Go to Committed Water and see what they can do. But it's a game changer. Within they're taking thousands and thousands of barrels of water and turning it into. Let's just call it's cleaner than drinking water.
So he literally, he was producing it from one of the wells there. We went to location, and as soon as it was out, we actually filled up a cup with water, and he grew hair for 2 days. It was great. No, it was. It was actually great. It was.
We have a new market.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing how he could go from just nothing to something that you could drink right then and there.
Obviously, that was pre-tested before you had to.
Yes,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So for you, give me a case study of something you've
All
been
right.
able to do.
I was given a challenge.
Right.
There was a saltwater disposal spill up in Dewey County, and the soluble salts initial data was 73,700 parts.
Right.
And for people that don't know, Bermuda grass can survive about 1,600 parts. At 73,000, you're killing trees. Everything is dying. Well, let me get my cheaters on. Yeah, 73,700. 3 weeks later, we were down to 25,300 for 65% reduction in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks.
Yeah, the electroconductivity went from 115,000 to 39,600, 65% drop. But chlorides, which are at 29,900, call it 30,000, were at 5,400 for an 82% drop in 3 weeks, on top of compacted gypsum.
So you're taking unusable soil and turning it into something that's going to.
We had Bermuda grass starting to grow back over, send runners.
See, this is why I like you. I have no idea how to do this, but if I need a place cleaned up, I know who to call.
Yeah, another one, 45,000 prior to treatment, 88 days later, it was 2,870 for a 93% reduction. Conductivity went from 71,400 in 88 days to 4,490. And the threshold limit for Oklahoma Corporation Commission is 4,000. And that was a 93% drop. The chlorides went from 27,005 to 1,020. That was within 20 milligrams per kilogram of compliance. And so all of this, that was a 95% drop. So
that's dramatic. That really is.
Yeah.
That's truly amazing.
And so,
I'm glad you're able to get out there and get that done.
And so that was my what I was using.
Yeah.
So I decided there's got to be something better.
Those are already great numbers.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I wasn't satisfied.
because
Okay.
because it's not just the product; it's the person who's applying it and all the science behind
Absolutely.
it. Sure.
And so typically, when somebody may approach me and say, we want to buy your product, and I've been known to say, no. What do you mean, no?
You won't know how to apply it.
You won't know how to apply it.
You won't
You
see
won't know
the
the
you won't,
proper
you won't see the
protocol.
results that I see, and therefore you'll think that the product doesn't work.
And I've had people tell me that,
Yeah.
and they didn't understand.
Because you created that product. Hey, a lot of people don't understand. Like he has designed this product to go out and remediate these locations.
Well, so I figured there's got to be a better
Yeah.
way to do it. So knowing the componentry that I had available,
Right.
I switched components to a different source that is 4 times more concentrated, has far, far less heavy metals, so I can bind up more heavy metals.
Okay.
And so I theorized that I figure I can probably cut the remediation time in half. And I have an ongoing trial right now.
There we go.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I love about our industry. You mentioned that.
Innovation.
Innovation and our
Constantly
industry.
trying to better ourselves.
Yeah,
Every single
right.
day.
We want to do it right, and then we want to make it better.
Yep.
So what I did, I took my own property for the site,
Right.
and I got 125,000 parts of soluble salts,
Okay.
and I put it down. I let it sit for 30 days, and it was crusted with salt. And then I took my first sample. I knew what the water was,
Right.
so I took my soil sample, and with dispersion, it was 34,000.
A little bit high.
No.
Little.
Cut it in half. Or three.
No, I hadn't treated it yet.
And you hadn't even treated it.
No,
Okay.
it's dispersed.
Right.
So then I took about 1/3 of or third to half of what I had used prior, but because of the concentration was up, much cleaner product. 29 days later, I already at 0 to 1 foot, because we have to go down 3 feet to meet the Oklahoma Corporation Commission requirements. In 29 days.
Which, by the way, we beat as an industry all the time. Most of the time, these regulations they put out, we as an industry are just
Smoking them.
smoking them. I mean, we want to do better than what regulations say. We all achieve that. Safety, environmental.
Oh.
I mean, all of our practices are always we're trying to be better.
Yeah.
So, 29 days later, I had across the board 69% drop in 29 days at 0 to 1 foot. At 1 to 2 feet, 77% drop.
It's good.
And then 2 to 3 was in compliance. It had not migrated down.
So you can go out and there's really at this point you don't think there's any locations you can't get taken care of without having to haul. It would be
Probably not.
It'd be a big stretch for these companies to have to haul away dirt these days.
Yes.
Good.
That's
Yes.
massive.
At a lower cost. Now,
And-
sometimes,
And everybody that's listening, get a hold of George Edwards if you're an E&P company. I mean, if you are any part of a well site at all, and you think that there needs to be at least testing, reach out and find it. He'll come out there, do the testing, and then offer you really reliable an opportunity to get results to fix up the environment around those sites.
And typically what I do, I can pull the samples. Then a lot of times will use whoever contractor they are comfortable with.
Yeah.
And I oversee the project to make sure it's done.
Consulting.
That's the
Environmental consulting.
And I feel
I
myself.
like the other day you were telling, back to us hunting and fishing. He gets a lot of work around deer hunting season because
What?
all think about it. All the hunters were out and about. We're walking through fields. We're walking, nearby. I mean, oil and gas is, very present in Oklahoma. So you see, more often than not, corporation commissions getting calls a lot more during hunting season because everybody's out walking and they see, a problem, and that's when, that's when a lot of these, problems are reported. That just that makes me laugh.
Well,
So
thank you, hunters, for reporting and letting us know so we
We're-
can get Edwards out there, right?
We are, hunting and fishing are stewards of our environment.
Oh,
Yes, they are.
huge.
We want for the next generation, my son who you just saw, I want for the next generation for him to be able to get out there and enjoy his environment and his natural resources that
That's
we all
awesome.
protect. Okay.
Yes.
Well, guys, I'm going to wrap this up, and I just want to say, George, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much for what you do, and man, all the things you contribute to our community and society, and my dinner plate. I thank you so much. And this is our show, Talking Energy Show. That's it, everybody. Take care. God bless. Get a hold of George Edwards Environmental. How do you get a hold of you?
Yeah.
They can go to my website. We just launched it today.
Oh, good.
For an update.
An update.
Yeah.
Industry first, right here.
www.edwardsenvironmentalcorp.com.
EdwardsEnvironmentalCorp.com.
Right, 405-843-3431. 405-843-3431. And if they have saltwater, produced water issues, then go and on my website.
You have so much on the website.
Well,
I'm glad. It's a lot
it's
to learn.
PWR.
Yeah.
Produced Water Remediator.
Produce Water Remediator.
There you go.
Man, it's good stuff. All right, that's it. That's really it, everybody. Thank you, guys. God bless. Take care. See you next time.
Be good.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.